Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that wherever and whenever you are, when you hear this, that this message finds you happy and healthy, filled with light of the Holy Divine, and that you are able to discover joy in even the smallest of moments. Tonight is going to be a channeling night. I was contacted a little while ago. The Divine told me it's another channeling night, and I said, who am I going to channel? And I went through the list, was it someone from the United States, someone from Europe, someone from Jesus or his family, my usual people. And then I said, is it someone of ET origin? And asked if it's Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command from the Pleiadians. The answer was no. And I'm like, okay, you know what, God, you're just going to have to tell me because I don't know what to do now. And then I said, is it the Arcturians? And he said, no. And I'm like, okay, that's it. You have to tell me. So I sat in silence for a moment. And he said, the Andromedans. Oh, okay. That sounds cool. I'll channel the Andromedans. That sounds awesome. I spent, I have a story, a wild, wild story. If you have not heard it yet, you should probably go back in my archives and look up Andromedans. Because one night they came to me and they basically picked me up in their ship that suspiciously looked too much like a 67 Ford Mustang. It turned into a spaceship once we left the atmosphere. And it was all astral. It was all like in another dimension. They pulled my spirit out of my body, and I went to their world where I lived with them for like 20 years. And when I came back about 5.5 hours later, my time. We went back in time. They dropped me off in my body, and I woke up and I didn't remember my own name. I did not remember that I had children or that I had been married. And I was a little confused about the house I was in. And I was longing to be with the Andromedans. I miss them so much. They had become like my family. And I miss them so, so much. There was a man that I had been involved with, but when I first got there, I said, I can't engage physically or marry you or anything like that because I'm married back on Earth and I refuse. I will not violate my own marriage because I'm really in love with my husband at the time. I was married and he honored that, but he came around anyway every day, and we became extremely good friends. But it didn't go beyond that. Sometimes he'd bring me flowers, but we would spend times that were extremely romantic, and yet we didn't touch each other, except for like the occasional pat on the hand or hug goodbye, hug hello thing. But it was profound. I mean, it changed me in so many ways, and I had written down like pages and pages and pages of my 20 years that I had spent there. I mean, I wrote a lot in my journal, put that in storage. I lost everything in storage. Long story. I'm going to write a book. I'm in the middle of writing a book about that too. But, so basically all I have is like the memories that I have, not, the details I'd written down. I don't remember. Anyway, these people came to me today and they're with me now, and I am connected with them now. I'm going to do the first part of the show, and then I'm going to channel 5 people from the Andromeda galaxy who have never been channeled by humans before. So there might be other Andromedans that are out there being channeled. But these 5 are people that I knew. I spent 20 years with them, 20 years of their time. And they have high technology. They could go back and forth in time. And they brought me back 5.5 hours after they took me. But in that 5.5 hours, I lived like 20 years. So it's a really wild story. It was a very wild experience. I know it was more than a dream. Because usually when you have a dream, you wake up and you're like, oh, honey, sweetie, you tell your loved one. I woke up and I was like, who the hell is that? And where am I? I'd only been married like, I don't know, at that point, 10 years or something. Like I had literally spent more time with the Andromedans double the time with the Andromedans that I had with my husband. Since then, I'm living another simultaneous life in the Orion galaxy right now. And just a couple months ago, I went there and I lived there for 5 years while I was sleeping in my bed here. I woke up and I was just like, oh my God, that was wild. My last memory before I woke up in this bed here as an earthling was I'm a lizard woman in bed, and my lizard husband just got out of the shower and he had a white towel wrapped around his waist. And I was just like, whoa, like what's happening right now? Because I was starting to remember my human self and I started to freak out a little bit. And then I woke up in this bed and I went, oh my God. I don't know, the more we go up in multidimensionality, the more we become aware of these things that seem insane. I know I'm not insane. I know I'm not having a psychotic break, because I'm not the only one having these sudden experiences and memories. If I was the only one, then I would be super worried. But I've gone on YouTube and I've gone on the internet, and other people are saying similar things so yesterday I just became aware I'm living in da-da-da-da-da galaxy. I kind of feel like George Lucas isn't only George Lucas. I have a feeling that the Star Wars story might be real. I don't know if any of you have ever had that feeling, but I feel like it's probably real. It's probably a real thing. I mean, the details obviously are incredibly realistic, except for the Jar Jar Binks, and what the heck was that? I mean, come on. Let's just throw a cartoon in our reality. I mean, is that I don't know. It's like someone did LSD or something, and I don't know. But aside from the Jar Jar Binks incident, that was a really weird flub on their part. But the rest of the movies, the story sounds really, really realistic to me. The worlds and the fighting and having a hideout on an ice planet and all the survival stuff. I mean, the Tauntaun. Oh my God, the Tauntaun scene. Ugh, yuck, so gross. But I don't know. I mean, all of it. It really sparked my imagination as a kid. I was there, ironically, I was there opening weekend. I think I did say this before, that I was there opening weekend. I think it was the second day, not the first. I don't think it was on a Friday. I think it was on a Saturday. I went to see it. And in Panorama City, in the theater there. And when I met my husband, we had a conversation about all this sci-fi we love, because he's a sci-fi lover as well. And he said, I can't believe I got to see it on opening weekend. I went to the second night on a Saturday, and I went and saw it at the Panorama City movie theater. And I'm like, I was the little redhead girl in the front row. And he's like, what? I go, yeah, I was there and I saw it too. That was when I saw it. In fact, we loved it so much. My babysitter took me and my cousins, and we went, and we loved it so much that we hid and we crouched down in the front row and watched it again. I mean, we were in the movie theater for it took us 2 hours standing in line, and then we were in the theater 5 hours. Everyone was so worried about us back home. They're like, what? You guys went for a 90-minute movie or a 2-hour movie or whatever, and you were gone for 6 or 7 hours. And we're like, yeah, we decided to stay and see it twice. I mean, I think it was 3 or something in the afternoon we left, and it was at 5, and the line was insane. But I remember just thinking how incredible this world was that he created, and how weird, and how did he think of it? However did he think of it? And now, based on my own weird experiences of the past 15 years with beings from other worlds and other dimensions, now I'm like, yeah, okay, I could kind of see where George Lucas is. There's a lot more to this man than meets the eye. I have a feeling. He might not even know it himself, though. It might just be these pervasive dreams he keeps having, and it's his past life. I honestly would love to talk to him someday about it. I have a feeling he's a starseed. How weird would that be if he's an unawakened starseed and he has no idea? He just thinks that for whatever reason he has a great imagination. I mean, wouldn't that be so trippy to make all these movies and then wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, that's a past life, or that's a simultaneous life that I'm living right now. That's just a fractalized part of my soul, just as we are all fractalized parts of God. All right, guys, chew on that one for a while. Okay, well, that was fun. Woo! It started off with some pretty deep thoughts, man. And if it doesn't sound deep now, you're going to start thinking about it later, like tomorrow or in a few hours, and you're going to be like, oh, man, it's got layers. It's got layers to it. It really does. All right. It's like an ogre or an onion. It's got layers to it. All right. So I wanted to get into, first of all, the Ascension Symptoms Scale. We're at 98, so it's still pretty up there, being tired. I'm having a lot more bloating than I have had in like a couple weeks. I thought I was done with that, with receiving the energy, still having the hot flashes. Tinnitus was terrible today. Emotions are running high still. A lot is going on with the emotions. Started stuff from the past, and I've been approached by a friend of mine who I've known over 20 years, and she told me she's been going through some pretty serious depression, and it's like all she can do to get through each and every day until she could light up and smoke her weed at night. She just wants to have at least her days sober. And she had a long struggle battling cancer, and thank you God she's cancer free still. And she smokes her weed every day, and she takes care of her pets. Even a stray raccoon, a stray wild raccoon. It's like her secret pet, and he comes around like every week to hang out, comes in the house, plays with the cats, and then goes off on his merry way. So, I don't know though. I mean, I'm glad she was honest with me and told me. She can't even listen to the show. It's just, my voice is exactly the same voice as what I had when we knew each other, when we first met. And it freaks her out. It's like she's being transported back in time. And she's like, I'm stoned every night. I just cannot handle listening to that. It's like I'm listening to the past. It's so weird. I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's cool. But, but same thing. I mean, she's been going through the suicidal thoughts. I've been going through the suicidal thoughts, and I love myself and I love my life and I don't want it to end. But, I think it's just that I see such a bleak future sometimes. And I think that I don't know what that is. If it's an overlay from the overlords that are trying to continue to take control of us. Are they putting out bleak images for our future? Are they trying to devalue us so that we don't see our own worth? And I know I've been struggling with it. I've been confused by it. I mean, I'm not going to just off myself this week or something. I mean, I don't have plans to do it. And it's just the feeling of it, though, that intense, powerful, like pervasive feeling that there's not really going to be a good future for me. And I'm going to probably just die. So why try now? Kind of energy, even though I am trying. I'm excited about my life, and I'm excited about advertising my show, and I've been doing all the things I need to do to get things done. Like last week, I paid somebody on Fiverr to give me a list of Instagram influencers in the New Age category, or metaphysical, spiritual category. And as I was looking these people up, and I wrote down the 13 names, and I've already added them on on Instagram. And what was so incredible is all of a sudden, all these other names started popping up. And Instagram starts, like these start going, well, you'd be interested. There's my crow. I'm going to turn my, why did I forget this time? At least you guys got to hear my new one. My little crow. There's no crows here that I've seen. And because I haven't seen any crows here, I was kind of missing my fine feathery friends that I had in North America. I did see kind of a almost black bird. It was kind of like a deep, dark taupe colored, not even gray, but like a taupe mixed with black. So it was almost like a deep taupe. So much so that it was almost a black bird, and it had a bright orange beak, almost like a mynah bird, and bright orange feet, and a yellow ring around its eye. And it was just like a common bird in Quito. It was so adorable. Every now and again, I see the most adorable birds, and I'm like, what? Like in Colombia, in Medellin, there's these little yellow birds. And anytime you have like a lawn, grassy lawn, they're just everywhere, just like, normal brown birds in the northern hemisphere, but they're bright yellow, like little canaries. And I'm like, oh my God, they're canaries. And then when I look at them close, they're not. They're just little yellow birds. And in Peru, there's green birds. They're not parrots, but they're just bright green. And they're exactly the same color as the leaves on the trees, and you really can't see them until they take off flying, and you see their red beaks, and they have a red ring around their eyes. They're so cute. I don't know. I love living in South America. The birds are just, it's like being on an acid trip all the time. Down here, some of the stuff I've seen, just random things. Woke up this morning when our parrots outside, the wild parrots outside the window, basically on the other side of the street in the eucalyptus trees, they every now and again they get into a squawking battle and they fight with each other, and then they fly in a flock around the tree like in a circle, and then they land again, and then they do that 2 or 3 more times, and they're very loud and squawky. They're parrots. And they're so cute, and they're green parrots. They're just wild parrots. They're just the natural birds here. When I was in Colombia, I saw in the jungle, I saw the red macaws with the yellow and the blue feathers, but they're mostly bright, bright, bright red. And in Peru, in the jungle, I saw them too. And once you've seen parrots like that in the wild, you never want to see one cooped up in someone's house again. I mean, I've always had a love for these birds, and I went into a pet store one day. There's this huge sign that says, "Please don't touch the parrot." But I'm only 5 feet tall, and the sign was like 20 feet off the ground. How the hell am I supposed to see that? I'm too short to look up like that. It was just, it was insane. It was like hanging next to the ceiling, and it was high ceiling. It was like a warehouse type space. Like, I can't see that, you know. Then the bird kind of looked at me, and he started nodding his head and shaking his wing at me, and he put his paw. I'm like, all right. I go, I'm buying cat food. Don't hold it against me. I have a cat, you know. And I'm like, but come on, let's go. We'll go around the store together. And I put my arm out. This is my mom and my grandma, and they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. I'm like, why? The bird wants to go with me. Why not? So I put my arm out, and the bird crawls up onto my shoulder, and he just hung out. He just loved me, man, just hanging out. And we went around shopping for like 30 minutes. It was this huge warehouse-like store. And all of a sudden I hear someone in the front going, oh my God, where's the parrot? Where's the parrot? I'm like, are you looking for my fine feathered friend on my shoulder? And they're like, oh my God, you're not supposed to touch a bird. Look at the sign. And they point way up. They're craning their necks. You know, I'm like, oops, I didn't see the sign. And he's my friend. And they're like, he's going to bite you. He's horrible. He's mean. I'm like, well, maybe he just doesn't like you, because he obviously clearly loves me. I love him too. But when I tried to get him off my shoulder, then that's when he started to try to bite me. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I go, I would take you home in 2 seconds, but I think they would probably call the police on me. He was just such a cool bird, though. He just wanted love and attention. And I think they put him like as the bird, like the mascot of the store, because he was old, and it's like when he wasn't being held and loved and pet all the time. Birds get like really nervous, and in captivity, they just need constant interaction, because birds like that are super social. And when they're out in the wild, they have each other. They've got all their friends. They make friends with other species. Like, I went to a special place where they have a bunch of different animals in one place, and all the animals are friends. I mean, you know how weird it was to see a monkey riding the back of an anaconda as it's going along the grass? It was like, what the hell is happening right now? I mean, normally in the wild, that would never happen. And, toucans are hanging out with the parrots, and the anteaters are hanging out with the monkeys. It was so weird. I mean, it was cool to see. Everyone was friends. They all knew they're there. They're going to be loved and taken care of. But animals get weird when they're put in captivity, when they're supposed to be wild. And so, I don't know. It's just, anyway, that's all I had to say about that. But anyway, we are at 98 today on the Ascension symptom scale, and we are still going through a lot of that emotional stuff, a lot of that weird memory stuff, and stuff to do with our egos. Lots of cobalt blue energy in the upper atmosphere and coming down through the clouds. I feel there was like a purplish energy, but I didn't see it. I felt it, almost like a violet. coming to heal us, and there's like a magenta in the atmosphere, but I don't see it. I don't have the quantum sight like the lady who does Why So Serious Too on YouTube does. A lot of people do have the quantum sight. I believe Alanna Ash has it as well. And I don't have it. Sometimes I see it from my third eye or from my eighth chakra. When I connect that to my third eye, I can kind of see it or make it out, but my physical eyes have to be closed for it. It's very strange sensation, but it's just some energy that I'm feeling, you know, like instinctually more than anything. But there's a lot of blame game going on. People placing blame on you for things that you could not control, or trying to hold you accountable for when you were asleep. You know, someone in my life is trying to hold me accountable for getting involved with somebody who was a narcissist, and I didn't know the signs of that until a few years after the incident. And now that I've studied it, I will never get involved with another narcissist. But I did the best I could. You can only ever do the best you can. But now that you're wide awake and you're awakened and you're moving towards the ascension, you shouldn't be held accountable, I don't think, for actions you took when you were still pretty asleep. Like, even then, I was more awake than the average person at that time, but there's still some other stuff, some social related stuff that I was completely still not totally aware of, not totally, you know, coherent about. And plus the other thing is, when you're blinded by so much emotional pain in your life, like super, super blinded by pain, it makes you do crazy things. When you're blinded by loneliness, and when you're blinded by pain that somebody caused you. And sometimes when you're in a relationship and you're really really hurt, and then that person says things to you and you feel like you're not worthy enough, the first thing you do is you run out to find someone to show you that you're worthy. And especially as women, we do this a lot. In general, I've noticed in a lot of women that I know that just, it's like you want to be validated. And then when that person that you tell everybody that you loved, they start to invalidate you and devalue you and belittle you and betray you in a multitude of little tiny ways, you feel so bad about yourself and so embarrassed. And you feel like just you want to shrink into a hole and you don't want to actually ever speak to another man again. But at the same time, you crave that love so much that you run right out to, and the first man that shows you attention, you kind of go for that too. And it's almost like you're insane from the breakup of the first man. You run to the second man. And it's something that a lot of women do. I know that it's something that I did when my 13-year marriage broke up. I mean, I thought we were going to be together forever and ever and ever. And I didn't know he was sick. And so when he died of cancer, that was even worse. And the fact that we had 2 kids together, and I believed everything he said because we were super close. And he built me up for 10 years, and then he broke me down for 2. I didn't know he was even a narcissist. I didn't even know anything about it, to be honest. I was like, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? When I started trying to look into it, the only thing I could come up with is maybe he's bipolar. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what happened. I mean, I started to see a counselor. Is it me? Is it me? Oh my God, is it me? I was really freaking out. You know, and the counselor's like, there's nothing. No, you're not bipolar. You're not like what you think. You're not these things you think. And, you know, you're okay. You're actually okay. You're just very sad. You have depression and you're very sad over the breakup, and it's normal. And I was like, oh my God, thank God, you know. It's just some stuff that people go through. It's the stuff that we, as humans, it's like everything is so freaking confusing. And then when somebody flips a switch and now they're like, you know, they were Dr. Jekyll for forever. Now they're Mr. Hyde. And you're like, Well, that was hiding. Mr. Hyde's a good name for it. That was the personality that was missing. It was hiding. And it's just weird when that happens. It's like, what do you do? Like, you know, I've become a very strong person. I'm more of a spiritual warrior than ever before. And I've become a deeper shaman, and I've started channeling just out loud to the public this past 6 months only, even though I've been doing it for years. But being alone, I mean, I've been alone more often than not the past 9 years as far as romantic companionship and partnership. And I was just talking to someone before I came on here, and that's why I'm a little bit late. I'm again an hour late getting my show out. Sorry about that, guys. I was just crying so hard that I couldn't get to the show, because we were having this deep conversation about, you know, why I've been I really want to meet him. I really want to, maybe, you know, we could go on a date, see if we're compatible. He's like, I really want to be your pareja, which is kind of it's more like I want to be a part of a couple with you and your partner and be there in your life. And you know, it's a word in Spanish, and it's more than just couple though. It means life partner. You know, it's a really deep word, you know, it's deeper than girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, and this person's really, really sweet. I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest, but I mean, he lives in Quito. I could barely breathe where I live now, and then to go up 1,000 feet more above sea level, it was nearly impossible. It's I don't know if I can even live there. I love that city so far, the 3 or 4 blocks of it that I saw. But I'll go back in a couple weeks, see again, but I don't know. I mean, he lives with his mother. When you're single in the Latino world, usually you live with your parents. Unless you just don't get along with them, then you don't. But most people stay with their parents, and they love their parents, and everyone's super close. And it's something I did not have in my life, and I really wished I would have. I think I want to at least be near people that think that way, that they want to really love their families. It's really sweet to me. Foreign to me, to my experience, so foreign, but it's something that I always craved and loved. And the idea of, you know, the fabulous dinner parties with all these people that I love. And I have a lot of individual people that I do know and I love and I'm friends with. And God, I've been friends with some people for 30 years now or more. But we're all scattered. We all live in way different cities and states and now countries. And one of my girlfriends from university lives in London now. You know, so I just don't have the people near me that I wished I could. I should get a bunch of computers set up and just do Skype. Have a Skype dinner. I don't know, you guys. I hope someday I could get to be wealthy enough where I can buy a property and build a bunch of little fun huts and invite you all down, and we could all just have a big party and meditate and eat good fruit and drink good coffee together. A lot of you that I've gotten to know now off the air, I've been really grateful for you guys, and you are my soul tribe, and I'm grateful that you're listening to my show even. All right, let's get to the Schumann resonance so I could get to the channeling. So the 8:30 a.m. report says, it seems to witness again the model, which we have seen several times, of a gradual increase in activity both in frequency, amplitude, and in the duration of the movements. Today, so far, there have been no major peaks. The largest was 23 hertz at 5:30 UTC, but it was still a continuous movement that started at 21 yesterday, and it's ongoing. So what is that? Wow, it's 9 hours. A very low not very low, but 23 hertz, 3 times the average, the normal. And it went for 9 hours. Let's see what happens in the afternoon. At 1700 UTC, the scientists write, the day continued with moderate activity until 13 UTC, when the amplitude values returned to normal. At 9 UTC, there has been the highest peak that was at 37 hertz. So that's interesting. You're like, what is that? I mean, 37 is almost approaching the fifth dimension, but so a continuous movement that started at 21, and then they say it ended at 13 the next day. So that's like, see, 21, 22, 23, 24. 3 plus 30, so 16 hours. So we got 23 hertz for 16 hours. What is that? I don't know what this is. Honestly, the Schumann resonance, it's confusing. No one really knows exactly. Like, we know that it's between the Earth and the ionosphere. It's amplitude frequency waves, but we don't know where it comes from. Is it spiked when people are feeling ascension symptoms really intensely? Is it when we anticipate something's going to happen? Like, we don't really know what it is. Is it energy coming from ETs? Is it coming from the sun? Is it coming from the earth, Mother Gaia herself? We honestly just don't know. All right. Lesson 16 is, in A Course in Miracles, is I have no neutral thoughts. Boy, is that true. All right. So the practice is, this thought about blank is not a neutral thought. That thought about blank is not a neutral thought. And this thought about blank is not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. Right. My thought about my past relationship is not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. My thought about my shirt was not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. Like that. Anyway, in order to get like the biggest, most amazing amount of energy out of this, you have to go to acim.org and check it out for yourself. I mean, really, it's worth it. It's worth your time. It's worth your 10 minutes per day to do the lessons. That's really all it takes. You read through the lesson and then you do the exercises 4 or 5 times a day. And each exercise takes like 1 minute. Some of the harder, deeper, bigger lessons that I did, I think took 10 minutes. So, I mean, really, it's not a lot of your time to unravel yourself from this crazy matrix we find ourselves in. It's not actually crazy, but I have no neutral thoughts. Like 1 second later, see, I'm not unraveled. No one's unraveled, like, to the extent that we need to be. We're not like, Brother Yeshua. He was extremely unraveled from it. And then he came back and wrote this book through a woman who didn't even believe in God. So it's just pretty good. It's worth your time. I hope it's helping you. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me know. Send me an email to metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com if you feel like it, or a voice message. If you want to be played on the air, just send me a voice message to anchor.fm/metaphysical. And you have to add me. You have to favorite my podcast in order to be able to send me a message. I didn't set that rule. It's just a condition of Anchor itself. But if you do that, you can send me a voice message. If you want it to be private because you don't feel like typing, you could do that. And I'll just send you a voice message back. We could have a conversation even. I don't mind doing that at all. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like WhatsApp without the actual phone numbers. Anyway, especially if you're my twin flame, damn it, voice message me. My twin tried to send me his email through telepathy because I haven't met him yet. And I remembered it, and then I wrote to it today, and it came back obviously as a male or demon because either he didn't remember it right or I didn't hear it right. You know how much this sucks? It's like, I know when our energy fields are both very clear, we're going to see each other. And in my sleep, I was seeing all the different ways in which we're not yet totally ready. But we're like a couple weeks, we always have been like a couple weeks away, and then something will happen. It's like, well, now I got to get through this issue. I know we're so close. I feel like it. And all of us who haven't yet met our twin flames, if we are twin flame incarnates right now, it's the hardest relationship you can have too. That's the other thing. It's like, I don't really wish it on anybody. I've heard a lot of stories of people that found their twin. It was just like living nightmare for a while, because when you're not fully ready and you come together and you're not ready yet, it makes it pretty bad. But I think my twin and I are going to be ready because we've taken extra time away from each other to get ourselves clear. And I feel like he's going through something hard, and he told me he's almost healed from it. He's almost there. So, but the telepathy has been wonderful. And at night I feel him holding me, and it's been actually really great. You know, I don't feel alone like I was when I'm at night. I feel him there with me. But I have to get in bed first. I have to lay down first. And 5 or 10 minutes later, and I still feel alone the whole time. And then all of a sudden, I feel his arm around me. It's like, oh, thank God you're here. And I feel like, so, you know, if we all hit the 5th dimension, my friend Michelle was saying, my listener, she's my new friend now. I feel like she's becoming my friend anyway. Michelle has been saying, you know, I can't wait till we get all the way up there because I just want to like just blink and I'm where I want to be. And I wrote her back the other day. I said, you know, if that's true, let's just blink ourselves into the middle of Walt Disney World because I can't afford the admission or the flight. Right now, we could just like blink ourselves inside Disneyland or Paris. I don't know. I would love to do that. It gets too cold in Paris when it's all rainy and wintry, which is when I want to see it because it's so beautiful in the rain. But it's from what I've heard and what I've seen on movies. But I think about that. It's like, well, what if I could just like blink myself out of there when I got too chilly? I just like blink myself back into Ecuador, or you know, when I get too cold here in Cuenca, I'll just blink myself to the coast and go hang out at the beach until I warm up. When I get too hot, blink myself back over here. I just want to do that. Can't we just do that? Can we just like cross our arms in front of us and blink like Genie on I Dream of Jeannie? All right, guys. I'm going to come right back and I'm going to do a quick channeling with the Andromedan 5. That is what they have decided to call themselves. I'll be right back. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. All right, guys, I'm here with the Andromedan 5. These are people that pretty much took me to their world to show me some information that we did not have here on Earth. And in 5.5 hours of Earth time, I lived over 20 years with them. And as I was getting ready and connecting with them right now, deeper and deeper so that I can hear them, they informed me that, well, you've been back 3 times since that night. And I'm like, what? I don't remember that. That's so strange. And then also, one of the 5 is the man that I had, well, kind of a romance with, even though nothing happened. I told him now, I'm single now, so if you want to take me to your world tonight, and I could go live with you for 20 years, as long as I'm back in 5 hours, we can actually have a relationship in your world. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does, I'll tell you guys tomorrow. But I'm single now. So, I am connected to the Andromedan 5, and I'm not going to ask them questions. They're just, I don't even know what they're going to say. So they're just going to speak. Okay, you guys can start anytime. I'm ready. Greetings to the Earthlings. We wish to welcome you to the greater galactic family that soon you shall see before you. We feel that in many ways we are your older brothers and sisters. Even though we might not look 100% like you, we are also humanoid. Do not be afraid of us. In fact, even if someone from another world is not humanoid or they look quite a bit different, you should still not be terribly afraid. For those of us that are able to reach your world, while you are in the 5th dimension, we are most generally of the light. The polarization and the polar opposites, along with the lower vibrations of the 3rd dimensional world, that's where all of the energies and densities of bad thoughts and bad thinking, the bad press that your world has had. I love that word, the bad press. What has been reverberating throughout all of the galaxies about how wild and dangerous and scary and insane your world is. We understand this to mean it is from the 3rd density, the 3rd dimensional, 4th density world from which you find your souls. However, we as 9th dimensional beings understand that this is not who you truly are. You are very much souls that are of a higher light and a higher vibration. And through your bravery and your service to the One Will, you have decided to come down to this level of the third dimension to understand yourself better. When I say understand yourself, I am speaking to that part of you that is God in many forms, many life forms. If you were to come back to the home of all homes where you first originated, you would understand that you truly are God. You would never have created wars. You never would have created anything bad in your world. Not only just wars, but feelings of jealousy, feelings of loneliness, anger, hatred, regret. All of these kinds of feelings are of a lower vibration. We wish to tell you that where we live, where we are from in the higher realms, we do not suffer these fates. In fact, our fate is to live in peace and harmony and love and joy. We do not celebrate the drama of jealousy or of getting back to somebody. You call this revenge in your world, or avenging somebody's death by killing somebody else. And then the cycle continues for many generations in some cases, and the rivalries and the wars and the atrocities and the horrors that you see in your world is as a result of being in the lower vibrational realm. You have to understand that you were brave as souls to become the warriors of light that you have become, to go all the way down to the below realms, then to come back up and realize through your current awakened state and your awakening states that when you come back up to the higher functioning realms, where again only exist love, joy, harmony, and peace, you shall know this again because you crave this. The anxieties that you are feeling in your world mostly come from experiencing the low vibrations and craving the high vibrations. When you have a dissonance in your energy field as a direct result of not being where your soul truly craves, that creates depression, fear, and anxiety. The fear is not usually what you imagine it to be. Many a times it is from not having what you want and fearing you will never get it again. We are here to tell you that we love you. You are our brothers. You are our sisters. You are our greater galactic family. We consider you as extended ones, extended family. We love all of you, and we wish to share our culture and our ideas, which are very different from your own. Over the years, we have come and taken select souls from your planet and have shown them different and varied parts of our world and our culture and the ways in which we live. We have shown your Alanna what we do as far as relationships to each other, ourselves, our neighbors, and our greater community at large. She has explained and expressed what happened in that lifetime that she lived with us. In only 5 Earth hours, she lived 20 years of our lives with us. We grew to love and know her as our neighbor, our sister, and our friend. If you wish to enter into the intercultural exchange program ha with us, we would be more than happy to have you. We will show you everything that you crave to know and understand about us. We love you very much. And we are very kind and gentle beings because we come from the 9th dimension. We are at a higher vibrational state than what you are used to. But you quickly understand that if you wish to eat food in our world, for example, you do not eat it the way that you do in the 3rd density, the 3rd world, 4th density, the 3rd dimension. What happens in your world is you have to go and you pick the fruit from the tree, or you bring the fruit from the marketplace and you come home and you cut it open with a knife and you dig out the inner flesh and you eat it into your body. And after many hours, things are digested, and then, well, you know the rest. In our world, we buy fruit and we place it upon several tables and in our windowsills, and the vibration of the energy, the vibrational energy of that fruit is in our density field, which is very much less dense than yours. It is in our vibrational fields, and it's extreme in our fields. It is hard for us to understand what it would be like in your language to pick up on this message. Let us try again. We pull into our energetic field, the energetic field of the fruit. It is very much the highest octave of, perhaps in your terms, making love with the fruit. Now that sounds strange, but it's only on energetic vibration. We honor the fruit and we love it as a friend. We put it in our windowsills so that it may still feel the vibrational energy from our star, what you call your sun. We also have this. And the fruit will hold into this, will pull into itself the energy field from our star. We stand next to it, we touch it, sometimes we'll sing to our fruit, and in the singing we create a vibrational duo where we vibrate together, and that goes into our energy field, and that is what sustains us. We do not take things into our mouths, even though we are humanoid, very much like you. We have mouths that open and eyes that see and ears that hear and hands that can feel and touch. We do sometimes hug each other. We make love just like you do, but it's a lot less messy. We don't have the dense physical things happen that you do in your world. We don't want to discomfort you in our language or our explanations, even though as a society we are very open with these things, with our sexuality, because it's an energetic sexuality. It is much different than in your world. We do not wish to make you feel emotionally uncomfortable because, and I'm going to use an earth phrase here, a lot of you still have hang-ups about these things. The energy of the fruit will permeate our houses up to 1 week of our time. Then we take it, we put it in a bin, and it's much like a wheelbarrow in your term. We're pulling the word out of Elena's mind. It's like a wheelbarrow. It's like it's got 1 wheel and the 2 things that you could set it down like a tripod, and 2 handles is kind of what they're showing me. It's what I remember using when I was there also. All right. So we take these fruits and we put them in the wheelbarrow and we go around. Everybody takes their turn and everyone goes one person, sometimes we go in twos. Two people can go together so that they can delight in conversation with each other. And they pick up everybody's fruit. And then it's time once again to go to the marketplace to bring the fruit home, to permeate our lives again with the scent of the fruit, the vibration of the fruit, the beauty of the fruit. And this way we also commune with the tree that produced the fruit. Sometimes we take fruits from other life forms, not just trees, but also bushes as well. In our marketplace, we have one person that will sit with the various, what you would call booths. We have tables with different food on it. We do not eat meat. We do not slaughter animals. We do have animals, and they are our companions and our friends, but they too are sovereign beings as we are. They have their own hierarchical structure of their people as well. They love us, we love them, we all live in harmony with nature. We live in harmony with each other, with other beings. We do not subjugate or control other beings. That's something, again, of the third dimensional worlds. I say worlds, we say worlds. There are more than yours. Suffice to say, other three-dimensional worlds do exist, with people, beings on them. Some look very much like you, some look very much different from you. Our God is a glorious God. He is what we also call the grand central sun. He has created all the creators that have created all of the worlds. He has created so many different things. He is a very creative creator. They're laughing. He's a creative creator. That's what he does. He is God, and he is the best. So you would not believe some of the life forms that do exist in all of the universes. Sometimes it is impossible for us to believe, and we very much find it sometimes humorous, sometimes discomforting, depending on our states of mind at the moment. But usually we have come to realize, having a place of acceptance in our minds, reflect the vibratory rates of our souls. We do have bodies, but they're very, very, very light in energetic frequency as compared to your very dense bodies. We are not making fun of you when we say your bodies are dense. You're pretty much aware that your bodies are dense. We're getting from Alanna's mind that the word dense also can imply stupidity. We did not mean for any offense to be taken by you with our words. We have a different meaning for some things than you do. We have a different culture and a different lifestyle. Okay, I'm asking them, you guys, it's me, Alanna. I'm asking them about, like, if they want to talk about their structure of relationships and what do they do in their relationships. So, do you guys want to talk about that? Yes, 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 they say. They love their relationship structure. Okay, going back into trance now. Okay, Alanna informs us that you wish to understand the nature of our relationship structure in our communities. We do not know how others do it in other cities or other communities on our world, on our planet. Everybody has a different way. We do not have a government structure. We do not abide by rules imposed upon us by other beings because we are sovereign souls and we all understand and agree and live in accordance with one another. We don't very often have disagreements. We realize that the other person has a right of way as much as we have a right of way. We understand that everybody has a peace. They have a peace internally that they need to maintain and balance. This is the heart of all our relationships, friendships, interactions with strangers and neighbors and friends and family and our loved ones. We are allowed to live our lives according to how our soul directs us, how our heart guides us, and the ways in which our minds think. And this being said, many of us choose to live in relationships of 4 beings at a time. We see in your world, it's 2 beings. Usually it's 2 beings, and it's very restrictive. You're not allowed many, 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 many things. We understand this will be emotionally uncomfortable for you, so we will try to keep it as sanitized as possible. We love everybody. We love the vibratory rate of everybody in the 9th dimension because there is no negative energy. But we still live in these bodies that sometimes we leave our bodies and move on to another experience. In your world, you call this death. When there are 2 people in a relationship in your world and one dies, that soul is left alone. That soul is left in pain and sorrow to deal with the loss on his or on her own. This, for us, is very, very sad. We wish only to impart to you and share the idea of our lifestyle. We should never want to impose who we are on anyone. In our world, we are happy with each other and with our way. We understand it is very strange to you. Do not take offense at our world and our life. We, of course, do not take offense at yours. We just find it very sad. This is not a judgment. It's just that we have compassion. We have love for all beings and all creatures in all worlds. And when we see that one of you, one of your beings, one of your earthlings, are very sad because they have been left alone and in a circumstance in which only the people come around for a couple weeks. They give love, they give food, they give comfort, they give their time, and then they get back to their own busy lives, leaving the person in sorrow double. We don't like to see this. We get very sad at this world that has this happen. Yours is not the only world that does this. Other worlds have these similar restrictive thoughts about love and coupling and relationships and sexuality and sensuality and rules about touching. You would not believe some of the things we have seen in other galaxies, but that might be a discussion for another day. In our world, when 2 find love, they tend to find another couple who have found love, and they seek out compatibility with the other couple. Sometimes they live in one bedroom, all 4, and there is a marital ceremony, and everybody comes and celebrates the grand, great love. When you have a love with 4 corners to it, you have a balance. You have 4 opinions about things. You have 4 minds to take into consideration, and it makes you very humbled. It makes you very loving. It makes you very kind and compassionate when you have 3 other people that you love as much as you love yourself or more. You have to consider the feelings of all of the people. But when one of us passes away to the next world, the next dimension, then the one that is left is not left as one. The one that is left as 3. And we love and comfort that person, not for 2 or 3 weeks, not for only a year, but for the rest of their lives until our lives are over. But we also find a 4th for them again. We try to always maintain and keep this balance. This way we could keep the harmony and the love and the beauty and the joy alive in every household. And every community member makes certain that every other community member is helped with their own special gifts. If one person has a gift of music, they shall go not only to the marketplace or the town square, which more in we say your words, town square. It's more of a circle in our communities. We have a circular, our city is a circle and our homes are all circular. And in our town square, it's not a town square. It's more like a town circle. And we go to the middle, the center point, and we will all gather together and people will share their gifts. We will have what you would consider to be like, maybe I'm getting from Elena's mind, jugglers and circus performers. We have people who do fun and amazing feats, and also people that make us laugh, people that play music, people that create their own instruments out of their own mind, and they don't understand maybe basic music. They don't have lessons like in your world where everyone plays, like if you want to play the violin, everyone has a violin shaped the same. In our world, we create our own instruments, and if we don't like the sound, we will recreate them or fix them or change them until they sound the way that we wish them to sound. And usually it is a direct vibration with our own souls. So we get to share literally the sound of our souls with each other. We sometimes have bands and groups that play together, and we see if our souls are in harmony with other souls. And this way we can always be compatible the most with the people whose music is in harmony vibrationally with our own. We create our own music instruments, and so we delight in seeing all of the beautiful inventions of the instruments that other people have created. We also have art, and sometimes, at least once a year, we make it a point that we go around and we create art, sometimes on other people's houses. Sometimes people will mark out a space on a wall, maybe on the side or in the front of their house, or sometimes just their front door, and they will say, "This is the space I want art." Well, we make sure that the vibrations again match the vibrations of the person, and we see that our souls have the same vibration of the house of the person in which we are going to create art for. And they will invite us in for tea, and we will imbibe of the fruit by putting our hands above it, and we will commune together. And this is a meal for us. We pull the energy of the fruit into our hands and into our bodies and into our souls, and we are vibrationally aligned not only with each other but also with the fruit that is in the house for that week. We have a very much society based on vibration and frequency. And then we will create art on the door with paint, and sometimes it's made from fruit. It's made from various berries or dirt. We have different colored dirt in our world, and we mix it with different liquids that we find, such as water that comes from the rivers, but we have different chemical structures than you do in your world. It's very hard for us to explain and go into, but we create our own artwork based on the natural things that we find in our world. And again, our world is much less dense than yours. It's much different. It's hard to explain unless you come to visit, and you're more than welcome. But we are reminded of Alanna had her door painted by the man that she was very much romantically interested in, but did nothing with. We make it a point to say she did nothing with him, and we know what happened and what did not happen. We know this to be the true. This is the absolutely true truth that she really, we could see in her heart that she loved him, and he loved her dearly and wished to marry her, but it was too big of a commitment, and she was already committed. But he still felt the need and the compelling to visit her every day and take care of her. And so his heart matched her vibration the most. And he created the art for her door. He created a huge door and a little bit of part of her window art for her house. When you come to our world, we give you your own house. We can create one with our minds. It goes very fast. So it's going to be a round house like ours, but the inside colors will match the colors of your soul. Yes, you have colors to your soul. Did you know that? You have colors to your soul. Everybody vibrates at quite a different frequency from each other. Even though we're all very similar, we are all very unique as well, because we are shards off the one diamond. If God was the diamond, we are the little bits of glass that he could shatter us into. If this makes sense, again, we're pulling some of these ideas from the mind of Alanna. We understand that maybe you can relate to her words and her ideas more than some of ours, because we might be strange for you. Alanna called us eccentric when she met us. Maybe you would understand that we are eccentric as well from your perspective and vantage point. For us, we are just we. We love. That's all we do. We love and we enjoy and we help each other, and we share and delight in helping and loving each other. Does this make sense? We hope that the message and the energy and the vibration in which we intend has come through tonight or today, whenever you listen to this transmission. We love you. You are our brothers and sisters, and we shall always cherish our time with you here tonight, and maybe in the future we can come back. Feel free to telepath with us anytime, and we will tell you anything you need to know. If you want us to come and pick you up, let us know, and we will do so. We will be so delighted and happy to share all the energies of our world with you. We assure you that we are of the light and goodness. In the 9th dimension, we can be no other way. Imagine many beautiful, pretty colors, and then the higher octaves of those colors, and then the higher octaves of yet those colors. You're getting close to what our world is about. This might not make much sense to you unless you have gone up to the higher dimensional realms. Okay, we are giving too much energy to Alanna. She is getting hot. Her outer shell is vibrating at a very high rate. It's creating heat inside of her dense body. And we must go now and disconnect the transmission. Thanks be to you. Thanks be to the one great source that is our creator. We are all connected together through the energy of the one. Do not forget the one light. He is always, she is always, they are always. inside of you, in your heart of hearts. Please reach towards the light and come up to the 5th dimension. This is a good vibration for you to be in. You will drop all of the negative stuff soon. You will see, you will feel the relief, and you will never want to go back. Trust us. We are the Andromedan 5. We're happy to be alive in this time and space so that we can be of service and to share with you. All right, guys. All right, they told me it's over. They're done speaking for now. They'll probably come back, though. I've asked them, please take me with you tonight. Bring me back in 5 hours. I love them so much. I hope you can understand how much love and joy and just the vibration is so high. My outer shell, the outer part of my body, like my prana aura. Our prana is kind of like a pale blue. I felt mine glowing so hot and bright white, like I can't explain it, but I feel like I'm glowing. If I turned off all my lights, I think I would still be the light in the room. So anyway, I love you all. I wish you peace and love and joy. And wherever you are, I hope that you're focusing as much as you can. You will get more and more energy through your meditations. The more you meditate, the less you'll eat physically. We won't need as much soon. I've been doing some research on that today, in the last few hours. And I will keep doing my research and keep giving you information as well. All right, I'm done. So I'm signing off with peace and joy and love and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Until next time, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.